Happy New Year, Jamaica, from the JIS family to yours, and we wish for you a prosperous one. I'm Adrian Atkinson, and you're tuned in to a special edition of Jamaica Magazine. Coming up, messages from our leaders. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Happy New Year.
My fellow Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora, I greet you warmly with my wish that you will have a bright and prosperous new year filled with opportunities and the hope of a satisfying future. As we think about the year ahead, I invite everyone to pause, to renew your minds, your hopes, your aspirations, dreams, and concepts of where you are now and what you hope to achieve in the immediate or distant future. There is much living for us to do as we constantly fight against corruption, greed, malice, and hatred, rejecting them as misguided approaches to progress. We must renew our fight against the disintegration of the moral fabric of our society and seek to replace antisocial behavior, hostility, and immodesty with expressions of propriety, decency, and civility. Today, we open a new page in our lives. I encourage everyone to renew their trust in each other and enter 2023 with hope and confidence. We cannot change the past, but we can learn from our mistakes and work on the present to ensure a more pleasing future. We should make the best use of our time and make every moment count. We must be the change we want to see and espouse the solutions that will help us to deal with the challenges we will face. As we venture into the unknown, we can daily find strength to press on, even when it gets hard. We can find boldness to stand firm even though the events fall, joy to smile even on bad days, and faith to remain focused when the way looks dark. We will be called upon to make crucial decisions in various areas of our lives that will affect our future at a personal and at a national level. But we can agree with Socrates, the Greek philosopher, and I quote, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." End of quote. We can resolve to make this the year of transition to securing good health, unity and peace, strong families, clean environments, and solutions to combat the effects of climate change. Mental and emotional and physical strength, and increased reliance on the grace and power of the Almighty. I trust that this new year will bring each one of you reasons to go forward and celebrate life with renewed confidence. Lady Allen joins me in wishing you a new year filled with inner peace, love, and hope. God bless you, and God bless Jamaica, land we love.
We give God thanks for sparing our lives to see 2023, and we give thanks for the lives of loved ones and other great Jamaicans who transitioned last year. We embrace the new year with optimism and positive energy, knowing that our earnest efforts will determine the success we make of the time given to us. We have been earnest in our efforts in the past year in controlling crime, particularly murders, and improving public order. Now, it cannot be disputed that Jamaica has an epidemic of violence, which results in intentional killings, murders. Guns are the main enabling weapons used by violence producers, and ease of access to guns of itself extensifies fatal violence. Last year, we took a major step in deterring the procurement, possession, trafficking, and use of guns by passing a new Firearms Act, which has totally transformed the legislative framework around legal and illegal guns in Jamaica. It is now a minimum 15 years to life for a person convicted of an illegal gun offense. Since the coming into force of the new Firearms Act on the 1st of November 2022, over 70 persons, that is a rate of more than one person per day, mostly young men between 16 and 30 years old, are being charged with offenses relating to illegal guns. The security forces are increasing their surveillance, intelligence, and operational capabilities to detect and recover illegal firearms and those using or possessing them. This means that the rate of arrest for illegal firearm offenses will increase. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to our young men who are both the perpetrators of gun crime and the victims of gun crimes to turn away from guns. Avoid persons who you know have guns or have dealings with guns. The probability of being arrested and taken out of society for at least 15 years is increasing daily. Throw away the gun. Don't throw away your life. In the next few months, we will take amendments to Parliament to significantly increase the penalty for murder to over 30 years. We will streamline the bail process with the passage of a new Bail Act. A new corrections bill will be tabled, a new fingerprint bill will be tabled, and the Enhanced Security Measures Bill will also be tabled. This year, a clear message will be sent to violence producers that law enforcement and the criminal justice system is not a revolving door. Criminals will begin to understand that we are changing the risk-reward dynamic of crime in Jamaica. The probability of being caught is great. The penalty for crimes is high, and the opportunities and loopholes to escape justice are being closed. Already, we're seeing the impact of the use of emergency powers, the new Firearms Act, and various joint enforcement operations on our murder numbers. We were able to reduce the number of murders and save more lives in November and December 2022, thereby significantly bringing down the murder rate at the end of 2022. Your government is steadily building out the legal framework that is appropriate to treat with those determined to perpetuate violence in our society. I should also mention that the new Road Traffic Act will come into effect on February 1, 2023. This will go a far way in bringing order to our roadways. Motorists are encouraged to address their outstanding tickets at the courts before the new law takes effect. Motorcyclists are both a significant cause and victim of road crashes. The new law makes it mandatory that all riders and pillions must wear a helmet, and that motorbikes must be sold with helmets. The capability of the police to issue electronic tickets will more than double with the arrival of e-ticketing devices in the next few weeks. Under this new system, warrants will be issued in a seamless and timely manner. Traffic violators will no longer be able to ignore tickets they have accumulated and continue to drive recklessly without consequences. 2023 is the year when Jamaica will start to see a sustained reduction in violent crimes, particularly murders, and see an increase in public order and safety as well. As we bid farewell to 2022 and welcome the dawn of the new year 2023, there are many things of which we as a nation can be proud and many things for which we must be thankful. Jamaica has staged a remarkable recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic despite the global economic shock from the war in the Ukraine, continuing supply chain bottlenecks, and inflation. Consider these facts. Our economic output is now higher than pre-COVID levels. We are experiencing record low unemployment. Business and consumer confidence is high, and we are seeing an unprecedented level of investor interest in Jamaica in areas such as tourism, energy, housing, logistics, and infrastructure. We can be particularly proud that we have achieved this economic recovery while remaining steadfast on the path of prudent and responsible fiscal management. We are now cited as a poster child for good fiscal management, and we are among only a few countries globally that have achieved a robust economic recovery while at the same time managing to reduce debt to below pre-pandemic levels. This is the return on our decade-long investment in building a robust, prudent, and resilient fiscal and monetary system. It is a strong testament to how far we have come as a nation in our quest to achieve economic independence in our 60 years after achieving political independence. Our relentless focus on economic recovery over the past 2 years has no doubt been very successful. However, it has unavoidably resulted in diversion of resources and focus from other critical areas such as secondary road repairs and municipal waste collection. Rest assured, however, that your government is redoubling efforts in these areas. Already, we have been making up lost ground with 50 new garbage trucks commissioned into operation, which are improving garbage collection across Jamaica. Our efforts in keeping Jamaica clean are not only centered on collection. Your government undertook a comprehensive study of waste disposal and management in Jamaica, followed by a process of developing an end-to-end solution to transform waste management. In keeping with the principles of reducing climate impact, preserving water assets, diversifying our energy sources, creating economic opportunities from recycling, and maintaining the beauty of our environment. We are far advanced with the development of a business case for an integrated waste management solution that will involve a new sanitary landfill to replace Riverton, the divestment of municipal waste collection and management, and the development of a waste-to-energy plant. The solution will be implemented through a public-private partnership, and aspects of the plan will begin to manifest this year. Keeping our towns and cities clean has been a challenge for Jamaica for decades. 2023 will be the year when we begin to implement the total transformation of municipal waste disposal and management. There is sometimes a sense in our discourse that the problem is caused by the government and the solution lies with the government only, while citizens bear no responsibility. The ultimate transformation of our municipal waste system requires behavior change on the part of our citizens. Litterers and polluters must pay. Later this year, the government will pass legislation to increase the fines for illegal and improper disposal of municipal waste, and a bill will be tabled requiring citizens to separate their garbage. However, the Cabinet has already agreed and decided that a policy directive will be issued shortly to all government entities, requiring them to institute measures for the separation of the waste they generate. This will include all schools and hospitals. In 2023, we will turn focus on secondary, community, and rural road repairs. Last year, your government made a special allocation of over $3 billion towards repairing secondary roads. You should start to see the effects in communities across Jamaica very soon. While the allocation is significant, it is a mere drop in the bucket for what is needed to repair all our roads, the vast majority of which have not had routine maintenance and would be at the end of their design life. In the next financial year, more focus will be given to these secondary roads and rural roads. However, we must also have a national conversation about the spatial development of Jamaica and where and how we choose to live. It is not economically possible, neither is it practical or desirable, given climate change, population shifts, and location of industrial clusters, that demands be placed on the national budget to build and maintain roads and other infrastructure which are not sustainable. Later this year, we will confirm the new development order for the corporate area and announce plans to redevelop town centers in all parishes to rationalize settlement in Jamaica in an orderly, sustainable, and resilient manner. Now, as we recover from the pandemic and return to normalcy, please let us not abandon caution, as there is always a lingering threat and consideration of a spike in COVID cases or a new virus emerging. The 2-year disruption in routine has had untold and yet to be understood impacts on mental and physical health and social behaviors. I urge my Jamaican brothers and sisters to pay attention to your mental health. Don't be afraid to seek help if you find yourself overwhelmed, depressed, unable to cope, or just angry. Find someone to talk to. We Jamaicans tend to think of ourselves as tough, talawa, able to take on and defeat challenges greater than ourselves. However, over time, this tough attitude has led to an ineffective response to personal and social trauma in our lives. We have become a harsh society, and it is reflecting in our culture, in our parenting, in our domestic and intimate dealings. Violence has become normalized in our interactions as a people. We can change this by making a resolution this year to be gentler with one another, kinder to each other, more forgiving, and more loving. So we welcome 2023 and thank God Almighty for all His blessings and for shepherding Jamaica through a very challenging 2022. We look forward to all the opportunities the new year presents with a spirit of hope, optimism, determination, and faith. Hardships there are, but the land is green and the sun shineth. I wish for all Jamaicans a happy, healthy, safe, and prosperous 2023. God bless you, and God bless Jamaica.
To all Jamaicans, at home and in the diaspora, I wish you a happy new year. For many people, the celebration of a new year is a symbol of hope for our future. The start of a new year is an opportunity to focus on what lies ahead, while taking into account the year we have just gone through and where we are today. 2022 was a very difficult year for many Jamaicans. Our people have endured a major spike in the cost of living, without much help to cushion the crisis. We have seen levels of violent crime that have us living in fear and sap the hope of our people. We experienced restive months in recent times with the uncertainties among our public sector workers as to their pay arrangements. Repeated states of emergency have been declared across various parishes as the government uses this as an ongoing crime-fighting strategy. It's been going on for 5 years now, off and on, but the murder rate in our country has continued to rise. Under the Constitution, the state of emergency is intended to be the last resort mechanism to protect the state from subversion. By allowing extended periods of detention of any person without charge or access to the courts, a state of emergency suspends many of the most fundamental rights and freedoms of our citizens. The Supreme Court has on 2 occasions now ruled against the government in their recent use of states of emergency. And the government's appeals against those rulings have not yet been heard by the Court of Appeal. With this pall of constitutional doubt hanging over the government's use of state of emergency, it has been my solemn duty not to support the extensions of these states of emergency when they are brought to Parliament. Jamaica needs a strategy which does not violate the Constitution, one which tackles the root causes of violent crime in our country, and in a way which can be supported by all well-thinking Jamaicans, including the opposition. It is my hope for 2023 that the government will embrace a more collaborative approach to addressing the issue of crime. Jamaica needs a balanced approach to our national security crisis, using both tactical law enforcement and well-designed social interventions. The Police High Command have said that there are approximately 300 violence producers in our country. If that is so, our efforts should be geared towards urgently putting in place a legal procedure for targeting them, without infringing the basic rights of millions of ordinary Jamaicans. I have therefore suggested a court-supervised system of detention of these known violence producers, while cases are built against them so they can be charged and brought to justice. I've even offered my services to the government to develop the legislation to implement this much-needed procedure as quickly as possible. We have also on many occasions made the recommendation that zones of special operations, the so-called ZOSOs, should be employed more widely to provide security in the form of a strong presence of police and soldiers on the ground in those communities that are plagued by high levels of violent crime. This is what the people want to see, and it does not require a state of emergency for this to happen. And these security measures must be supported by programs to provide positive pathways and opportunities for our youths who are at risk. And they must include mechanisms to foster conflict resolution and avoid a spiral of reprisals in communities. It saddens me that important and proven intervention programs like the Peace Management Initiative, PMI, and Unite for Change have been discontinued and nothing has been put in their place. I commend the private sector for recently launching Project STAR in an effort to fill that gap. However, it is limited in scope and it will not reach most of the communities which need to be stabilized and which need peace. Jamaica also needs to prioritize programs that reaffirm the positive values and attitudes on which a strong society can be built. We need to invest in early childhood development by providing support for weak family structures and raising children in vulnerable households. We must increase the minimum wage and make it a livable wage so that parents can support their families without enduring the deprivations of poverty. We cannot allow this crisis in our education system to continue. Our schools lack basic infrastructure and resources to enhance the learning experience of students. Hundreds of students, or thousands, are still suffering from learning loss due to the pandemic, and some of them have not been able to return to school. We must invest, raising standards in basic and primary schools across the board so that they become world-class institutions. That will plug the pipeline of youths who have been failed and abandoned by the system and who end up embracing a culture of violence and wreaking havoc on our society. In 2022, we witnessed unrest and demonstrations within the public sector. The smooth rollout of the major restructuring of salaries and benefits for public sector workers has been undermined and confused by misleading communications when it comes to sensitive issues like the future of the motor vehicle concession policy, the recovery of discontinued allowances that have already been paid since April 1st, and the payment of annual increments over the 3-year period of the program. Civil servants and public sector workers are the backbone of our system of governance. They deserve to be adequately compensated for the work that they do, and our national development goals require a competent and motivated public sector. I urge the government to level in clear terms with the public sector workers and their unions on all the outstanding issues, and not to obscure the situation by resorting to clever or complex language that is so easily misunderstood. The principles of transparency and equity must be reflected in the process and outcomes of those negotiations. In 2022, we celebrated our 60th anniversary of political independence from colonial rule. Yet we're going into 2023 with the British monarch still being our head of state and their Privy Council still remaining our final appellate court. Time come for Jamaica to be truly independent. We must decolonize these remaining aspects of our governance by acceding to the Caribbean Court of Justice as our final court of appeal and becoming a republic with a Jamaican as our head of state. Let us not proceed in a piecemeal manner on these important questions. 2022 was a year of dwindling trust and confidence in the governance of our nation. People are sick and tired of public resources being used for the personal enrichment of a select few who are politically connected to the powers that be, instead of being used for the people for whom those resources are intended. Global inflation is now raging, and interest rates continue to increase as central banks around the world try to control it. Prices of basic food items and utilities have gone up and up, while our purchasing power continues to decline. People are struggling to make ends meet, and survival is a daily grind in Jamaica. We must respect the remarkable strength and resilience of the Jamaican people. I know it is hard, but I encourage you to keep the faith. Weeping may endure in these hard times, but as sure as the sun shineth, joy will come in the morning. The tide is turning, slowly but surely. Jamaicans are becoming increasingly aware of those who have their best interests at heart and those who do not. Time comes for us to put people at the center of governance by developing policies that are geared towards social inclusion, equality, and a better quality of life for all Jamaicans. Time comes for us to return power to the people so that we can collectively make the Jamaican dream a reality for all of our people. In 2023, let us recommit to upholding the values and principles of integrity on which our great nation was founded. Happy New Year, Jamaica. May God bless us all and bless Jamaica, land we love.
We've come to the end of the show, but you can rewatch today's offering or other content like this by visiting our website, jis.gov.jm. Be sure to join us again tomorrow on this same station as we bring another exciting installment of Jamaica Magazine. And because the New Year falls on a Sunday today, you get tomorrow as a national holiday. From all of us here at the JIS, best wishes for 2023. I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you next time.
Happy New Year. This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica. Every neighbor.